and welcome to Stocks Down Under. My name is Stuart Roberts, and I'm one of the co-founders of our service. And it's our great privilege on the afternoon of Tuesday, the 19th of March, 2024, to be talking to Ganesh Bangah and Georg Chmiel. Gentlemen, good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon, Stuart.
Hi, good afternoon. Good to be here.
So, Xamble is based in Kuala Lumpur, and very interesting business proposition. A platform that can organize influencer marketing to a range of brands, mainly in Singapore and Malaysia and Taiwan, with potentially other geographies to follow. About 10 or 11 million dollars a year in revenue in Aussie dollar terms, and just reached break-even point. So, Ganesh, it's fair to say you've reached an interesting point in your growth. You've been able to grow this business to the point where it's actually profitable, and you're only just scratching the surface of the market opportunity.
Yep, it is. Our underlying business will be profitable, but however, we're still investing in technology. And the reason why we're investing in technology really is to be able to kind of scale our market. We right now serve enterprise clients like KFC, McDonald's, Unilever, P&G in this region, but we want to kind of scale that as well to the huge SME market in the region. There's actually more than 1 million SMEs in Malaysia alone, right? And so we want to kind of target that market, kind of roll out our technology and enable SMEs to also effectively use influencer marketing to promote their products and services.
Right. Ganesh, this is going back a little while, but you floated one of the first internet companies in the whole of Southeast Asia back in the day. So you've been a big wheel on the tech scene in Malaysia for a long time.
Yeah, I floated the first Southeast Asian internet company on the NASDAQ, actually.
Right.
So my company was an online payment gateway called Money Online, and we're the first really Southeast Asian internet company listed in the American markets.
Right. And Gag, you've had a bit of track record of success as well. Once upon a time, you were the CFO of REA Group here in Australia. Right. You've since relocated to Southeast Asia, where you were pretty successful building one of the most successful prop tech companies in Southeast Asia, which was then sold back to REA Group. You've run the Hooker organization in Asia, and in the meantime, you've showed up on the number of ASX listed company boards. Tell us what attracted you to invest in Xamble.
What attracted me to invest in Xamble is a number of things, but first and foremost, that it's a technology platform. So all the businesses I have been involved in, iProperty, iCar, and others, are technology platforms. It has a focus on the ASEAN and Australia and New Zealand market, which is also very, very important for me in terms of my investment thesis. And it is listed on the ASX. It's a great team, has a great technology, and has a massive potential ahead.
Right. So, Ganesh, we met a while ago, and you emphasized to me the importance of, in the influencer market, there are really influential people, and then there are what you call nano and micro influencers, people with somewhere between 1,000 and 100,000 followers on whatever platform they use. Why are those influencers so important in Xamble?
Sure. So basically, the nano and micro basically have a higher engagement rate. So the number of likes or the percentage of likes for that 1 to 100,000 is actually almost double, if not triple, the engagement rates of the bigger mega influencers, the Kim Kardashians of the world, so to speak, right? So, for example, mega influencers that have more than 1 million followers, the engagement rate of these influencers are only 1.7% versus a micro influencer, which is below 100,000 followers, that has a 4% engagement rate, and below 10,000 is 8%. So these smaller influencers have a lesser audience, but a higher engagement rate, and that's because we can really relate to them.
Right. You've brought in about 20,000 of those influencers across the markets that you're in.
That's right.
And so if I'm in KL and I want to be an influencer, I can plug into the platform. At the other end, as you say, there are brands that want to engage. What's the most important part of the business? Is it the analytics that you get from that ecosystem? Is it the influencers? Is it the brands?
Sure. So if you actually look at influencer marketing, I think it would be useful for us really to look at the whole process of influencer marketing, right? And it's actually a 3-stage process. The first stage process really is discovering or finding the right influencer, right? So if you're a coffee shop in Melbourne and you just open a new outlet, you would need to find, and you would like to promote your coffee shop. How do you promote it today, right? Do you advertise on Facebook? Do you advertise in the newspapers? Obviously not, right? The most efficient way for SMEs to really promote themselves today is getting an influencer to visit their store and say good things of the store, the coffee on Facebook or Instagram. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Right. So what we do is we enable the discovery, this SME to discover the right influencer, right? So you'll be able to, for example, search in our platform, I want a 15 to 30-year-old influencer in Melbourne that loves coffee, right? And a list of influencers will come up. You can look at their engagement rates, you can look at their follower count, and then you can select the right influencer, right? Now that's the discovery stage. Once you select the right influencer, the influencers, we have influencers in our platform that have already downloaded the app. So when they download the app, what happens is the influencer can then kind of choose, can accept or disaccept the brands that actually have reached out to them. Right. So that's the second step, really engagement. And then the influencer, once he posts, there's actually a whole workflow where he can communicate with the SME. Once he posts, he then also gets paid in the app that he can then transfer to his bank account, right? So that's the second step, which is really the engagement step. And the third step really is once the followers of these influencers walk into the outlet, we actually have capability to track the likes, the engagement, and also soon as well, we have a feature called the social wallet, where the followers can walk into the coffee outlet and get a discount because they're a follower of an influencer, right? Now, why would the coffee outlet give a discount? Is so that enables tracking of actually how much sales that the influencer actually generated to the coffee outlet.
Okay, so that's a business model that has been building out across the region now for some years. What features are you hoping to build in 2024?
Sure. So actually, the whole discovery component is a new feature. We've been doing the engagement component for quite some time. The whole discovery of finding the right influencer in a particular geolocation that likes coffee is the new feature that we're rolling out this year.
Okay.
As well as the tracking component, which is step 3, right?
Interestingly, you're a calendar December balance date company. And the year to December 2023, revenue was more or less the same as FY22. But the second half was much better than the first half. What do you attribute your second half performance to?
So we invested a lot in our technology that enabled us to scale better. And so in the first half, there was a lot of investment into the new technology. And that investment technology started to reap in the second half. And we expect that investment to continue, to the returns of the investment that enables us to scale to continue in the foreseeable future.
Right. Now, we talked about the 3 markets that you're in, Singapore, Malaysia, and Taiwan. You've got other plans to grow. When do you think we'll be arriving in places like Indonesia, for example, or the Philippines, or other countries that have got a fair bit of social media presence?
Sure. So we constantly look at new regions that we can expand to. Some of the markets you mentioned, Indonesia, Philippines, are markets that we're really looking into expanding. We have a very strong strategy, a very clear strategy on how we intend to expand. We look at, for example, acquiring small agencies or mid-sized agencies in these markets, acquire them and roll out our technology so that they can bring on board the influencers that they have in those markets onto our platform, right? And then post that, we look at setting up, for example, an office in Singapore where all the regional budgets for advertising and promotions is located, and enable then the regional brands to really serve the regional markets of Malaysia, Singapore, Indonesia, and Philippines. If you put these 4 markets together, you've got a population of over 300 million people, right?
Right.
So this is the initial markets that we say, and that's 10 to maybe 15 times the size of Australia, right?
Right. So looking ahead over the next 6 months, as well as some of these new features you're talking about, is there anything else we can look forward to hearing from you?
Yeah, so I think as I mentioned earlier, the discovery is a big feature we're rolling out. The the whole tracking of the followers that go into a particular SME or brand or purchases a product is something that we're looking at. The commerce component is another aspect that we've been growing. One of our fastest growing aspects of our business, the live commerce business, where people can actually sell, or influencers can actually sell products on TikTok. That actually grew 50% last year, right? And we expect more brands to come on that platform. And with that, we expect that the business of that particular, the growth of that particular business to continue to grow at a very fast rate.
Right. Xamble has no debt at the moment and about 3 million in cash. So, so you're more or less funded for the next stage of growth, given that you're profitable. What can we expect to see in terms of margins going forward? How well is the cost base being managed to see an increase in gross margins, for example?
Sure. So operating expense would be stable. However, operating expense and gross margins we expect to be stable, and with that, the net margins we expect to improve over time. Right.
So there's a fair bit of scalability built into this business now that the platform is more or less rolled out. Okay,
That's
so
right.
So the shareholders have a lot to be excited about for 2024.
For sure. Yeah.
Right. Ganesh, Kumar, Bangah, Georg, Chmiel, thank you for tuning in this afternoon. Good luck for 2024, and here's to strong earnings in the interim coming up in a few months' time.
Thank you so much, Stuart.
Thank you.